Welcome back to another video I got for you guys here today. Today I'm doing something a bit special here. It's like a rebuild battle sort of thing against Beardmohbox, another Madden YouTuber. I'm sure most of you guys know who he is since he has like 20 times the amount of subscribers that I do. But big thanks to him for giving me this opportunity, to record a video with him. His link will be in the description for, maybe like the 5 of you who don't know who he is, but definitely go check him out. He makes very quality content. He's a great Madden YouTuber. He's also British, so that's always a plus. But anyway, I'm going to let him explain the rules of this now.
So, the way we're going to decide teams, I should say we have done this once before. We'll call it a test run at this point. Basically, I wasn't 100% happy with myself, so we're doing another one. I did lose that one, I'll be 100% honest. Didn't do too well. Shram went ahead and won the Super Bowl in the second season. And so for choosing teams this time, what I've done is I've simmed a random season here, and we're taking the 2 bottom teams. Now, the way I'm going to do this is you've got a choice between number 2 and number 1. Number 2 is, I don't know why I said it that way, because number 2 is number 32, so the bottom team, number 1 is, of course, 31. Which team would you like?
I'll take 2.
2 are the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay, alright.
And it gives me the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay, I didn't expect the Bengals to do that bad in that league, but okay.
Yeah, I think, actually, I don't know, defense probably needs a lot of rebuilding, but
that's probably
both
true.
of those teams I think have like 1 or 2 positions that are very strong and then a lot where you can work with. To be fair, I also need all the advantage I can get. I think Bengals might be alright for me. So, the rules for this are simple. We cannot draft anybody. We've got week 1 right now. We can make as many trades as we want, well, as many trades as we can make within the space of 10 minutes. And then we've got the free agency period as well. If we have any draft picks left over, we'll just sim through the draft, and if we happen to get somebody good, we can keep them on the team, but we can't then go in and get undrafted free agents. The rules, pretty simple in that regard. We both already know what we're doing, so our time starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
We got Tank Carradine, Elvis Dumerville, and a first-round pick for Julio Jones.
Oh, man. See, I wanted to go big and bold, but you've already beaten me to it.
Starting off early.
There we go. All right, so what I've done is I've traded Willis and a 4th-round pick for Adrian Amos of the Bears. Got myself a free safety.
The Dolphins' tactic ended up working. Threw in a 4th-rounder. We got Malcolm Smith, Joe Williams, and a 4th-round draft pick for Larry Warford. Not a big player, but 87 overall left guard, not bad.
There we go. All right, I've sent A.J. McCarron, a 2nd-rounder and a 7th-rounder, sticking with the Bears. I've picked myself up Jordan Howard.
Aaron Lynch, a 2nd-rounder, and K'Wan Williams for David Johnson. Going big.
Ooh, nice. That is a big move. I've made a big move myself, centering around running backs. I've found the Redskins as a willing target. I've sent them Giovanni Bernard and Jeremy Hill, and a 3rd-rounder for Trent Williams.
My next trade is going to be Carlos Hyde, a 3rd-rounder this year and a 3rd-rounder next year for Fletcher Cox. We got Brock Coyle and Matt Breida, however that's pronounced, and a 3rd-round draft pick for Kevin Zeitler. Okay, that was a strange trade, but Ray Armstrong just for Alex Mack.
Here we go, finally done. Brandon LaFell, George Iloka, and a 6th-rounder for Cordy Glenn. So, showing up those tackle positions.
For my final... Oh, this is the wrong player. Well, I got this player anyway. It's okay. I guess I'll use him. Laken Tomlinson, a 2nd and a 1st-rounder next year. For Golden Tate, I meant to get Darius Slay, but I hit Golden Tate instead. But whatever, I guess I'll use him.
Let's see. Okay, this is an interesting one if they give me him. Okay, I don't know if this is real life. I wouldn't suggest it. In the game, I think it could be quite good. Obviously, I had a 1st-rounder to get rid of, so I looked for someone, was happy to throw him away. So 1st-rounder, 5th-rounder, 7th-rounder, all my picks for Sean Smith, who's an 86 rated cornerback. So, my team now with the changes. We've got quarterback still Andy Dalton, of course. You don't need better than the Red Rocket. Then we've got Jordan Howard now, our running back, and Joe Mixon still on the team as well. Wide receivers, A.J. Green. I've left John Ross as our 2nd guy. Hopefully he'll develop well, maybe. I've seen him develop well, obviously, in Reboot Franchise. So if he goes that direction, that'd be great. Offensive line, I've managed to improve. Trent Williams now, the left tackle, the 98 rated. Then we've got Bowling, Bodine, and Smith on the inside, and then Cordy Glenn now our right tackle. Tyler Eifert's still the tight end. Hopefully, well, we've got injury turned off, so I was going to say hopefully stay healthy, but he will stay healthy. Then we've got free safety Adrian Amos. Our linebackers Vincent Ray, Minter, and Burfict, and then Sean Williams, the strong safety. Sean Smith, the 86 rated, because apparently we're not running with an updated roster, even though I said use real life rosters, but apparently this game likes to play tricks on me. And then Pac-Man Jones on the other side, and Drake Kirkpatrick at the third. And then Michael Johnson, Geno Atkins, and Dunlap. Oh no, we're running a 4-3, so Sims as well. And that is the team.
And then on my side, the offense actually looks pretty good, right? So like you said, we don't have the most updated rosters, so I don't have Jimmy Garoppolo, but it's not really that big of a deal. I got CJ Beathard as my starting quarterback. I could start Brian Hoyer if I wanted to. He's 2 overall points higher, but I think CJ Beathard might be a better long-term answer in case he wins like Offensive Rookie of the Year or something. But now we have David Johnson as well, superstar running back, of course. Julio Jones, Pierre Garçon, and accidentally traded for Golden Tate, but it's okay because it makes a good wide receiver core. I'll keep it going. The offensive line isn't terrible. Joe Staley was already here, of course. Larry Warford, Alex Mack, and Kevin Zeitler make a good interior. And then Trent Brown, who's a 76 in this roster, is not a horrible right tackle. He's massive, 6'8". George Kittle is the starting tight end, another rookie, so maybe he can develop, who knows. The defensive line is definitely the best part, because we got Solomon Thomas, Fletcher Cox, DeForest Buckner, and Eric Armstead, all guys who are not terrible. Fletcher Cox, of course, much better than, actually, DeForest Buckner's really good now, but he's an 81 currently. The cornerbacks are pretty tragic. We got Rashad Robinson as our starting corner. I mean, he has quick development, 77 overall. If he can randomly make a Pro Bowl, he'd probably get like 40,000 experience. And then the secondary, the rest of the secondary, we got Jimmy Ward, who's not, awful right now, 80 overall, and Eric Reed, 77 overall. Linebackers are pretty decent. Eli Harold's kind of not great, 73 overall, but Navarro Bowman, Reuben Foster make for some pretty decent other linebackers. So I think the team can do all right, but with my luck, I'll probably go like 2-14.
So what we'll do now is we'll advance to the first week of the playoffs, just in case either of us are there. No big hopes, considering that the last time I simmed a season, the Bengals were the second worst and 49ers the first worst, but could always go different. It's a season-to-season thing. Let's see what happens.
So at the end of the season here, tragically, we went 5-11. The Seahawks were 13-3. So, I mean, I just realized, yeah, I'm in the Seahawks division. That's going to be a pain to try to overcome them. But CJ Beathard actually played surprisingly well. 4,737 yards. That's a lot of yards. 30 touchdowns isn't terrible. 21 interceptions is quite a bit, but, I mean, he's a 74. Don't really expect that much, but, I mean, that's a lot of yards. And then David Johnson, 1,250 yards, which is, good for him. 4.3 a carry, 16 touchdowns. It's a good season. 2 fumbles. Jeremy Langford, who I signed in free agency, had 9 touchdowns as the backup. But then the receivers actually played ridiculously well, too. 91 catches from Julio Jones, 1,300 yards and 13 touchdowns. And then Golden Tate, who I accidentally traded for, again, kind of paid off, though. 1,372 yards with 8 touchdowns. That's a great season. Pierre Garçon didn't really do much, but that's all right. George Kittle had 3 touchdowns. Now, sacks, this is super surprising. Joe Staley, 34 sacks. That is so much for him. Trent Brown, 11. That's not as bad, but 34. 3 times as much as anybody else. Navarro Bowman, though, 178 tackles. What's the record of tackles for a season? Because I feel like that's approaching it.
It's coming close, I think.
178. That is ridiculous. Then, actually, who had 121? Reuben Foster, our second leading tackler, 121. That's still a lot of tackles, too. 13 tackles for loss, though, for Fletcher Cox. That's a good season. Who led our team in sacks, 8.5, 8 from Eric Armstead. Interceptions, 3 from Eric Reed, and then 2 from Navarro Bowman, and 1 from 4 players, Dante Johnson, Jimmy Ward, Rashad Robertson, and, mispronounced that name, Rashard Robinson, there we go, and Akello Witherspoon, he got 1 as well.
We have 5 minutes in free agency per week, but we're usually done by the first one. Starts in 3, 2, 1, and go.
Oh, man. Okay, well, Cameron Braid I went after, he rejected. That's annoying, but...
I was rejected by Ramik Wilson.
Ramik Wilson's my man. I have him in my one franchise series right now, and he's ridiculous. Xavier Cooper and Jeremy McNichols for Jack Conklin. Finally getting a very good offensive lineman. I needed a new right tackle. I almost said Trent Williams.
I was looking at him earlier.
Trent Brown was not cutting it.
Yeah, I don't really want to make this, but I've done it. I needed an outside linebacker. I'm making a bit of a move here. It's not the smartest thing. I've decided to go for Ryan Anderson. Cost me a couple of junk cornerbacks and a 4th rounder.
We threw in a 4th rounder, and we got Trent Brown and Joe Staley for CJ Fedorowicz, 88 overall player.
Ooh.
He's really easy to trade for. He's like super easy to trade for, and he's an 88, so I mean, he's not bad. Okay, I had to give up my first rounder again next year. I didn't have one this year either, but George Kittle, a second this year, a first next year for Chris Harris Jr., 95 overall. Okay, this works. I almost got somebody else. I'll say who I almost got in a second, but Jimmy Ward, Joshua Garnett, and a second next year for Landon Collins. And I was such a small sliver away of forgetting Odell Beckham Jr., but couldn't make it work.
Oh, heck, right, done. I'm fed up of trying. I'll just give him this, because I know they'll take it. Okay, the big trade. The one I've been working on for the entire period and got nothing else for. I've just traded a first-round pick, a second-round pick, and Cordy Glenn for Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald. He is ridiculous to get. He is so good. He always breaks the sack record like every season.
Aaron Donald.
So we are at the end of the season here. I didn't actually, go over the team, but this is the team I took into the season. I'll show you guys this first. The differences in offense are that I switched Alex Mack to left tackle. I moved him from center to there. We drafted this guy. I didn't draft this guy. The computer drafted me Antoine Sherrod. He was like a 74 overall center, superstar development. He developed decently well. He's a 77 now. And then I got Jack Conklin, of course, at right tackle. He's a fantastic right tackle, one of the better ones in the NFL. Nobody else, actually no, CJ Fedorowicz is here. Sorry, I forget you, my man, but CJ Fedorowicz is also there. And then on the defense, we got Chris Harris Jr., who's brand new. Jonathan Joseph I signed in free agency, and Landon Collins was the last trade I made. And I think that is everything that's different with my team. But let's check out the division here. We went 9-7. The Seahawks 13-3. The Rams 5-10-1. The Cardinals a measly 2-14. So I'll briefly go over the stats. CJ Beathard has a pretty decent year once again. Less yards, he has 4,400 yards this time, but more touchdowns and less interceptions, so I'd say that's a better season. David Johnson, 1,418 yards, 5.1 yards a carry, but significantly less touchdowns, only gets 9, but that's still not bad at all. Damian Hutchinson, another rookie, gets 8. Golden Tate, 104 catches, 1,356 yards, 7 touchdowns, so maybe that was a good player to accidentally trade for. He has like 2,700 yards these last 2 years, that's crazy. Julio Jones, 91 catches, 1,290 yards, 12 touchdowns. Pierre Garçon gets 7, CJ Fedorowicz gets 3. Sacks is not fantastic from the left tackle. Alex Mack lets up 21, but Jack Conklin lets up 6, and then there were none from the rest. That's actually really cool to see. Navarro Bowman, 159 tackles. That's quite a bit again. 22 tackles for loss for Fletcher Cox. We see one player with over 10 sacks, 10.5 from Eric Armstead, and then picks should be a bit better. We got 4 from Chris Harris and Jonathan Joseph. 2 from Landon Collins and Eric Reed, and then 1 from Navarro Bowman, Reuben Foster, Rashad Robinson, Bradley Roby, and Ben Bolware. It's cool to see he got one. No,
rejected by Mike Evans.
He didn't accept mine either.
Someone must have jumped in over.
Who did he sign to?
Delaney Walker.
I have $13 million left after all that. Who did he end up going to? What? The Cowboys 101? We both gave him 103.
Keep taking everyone.
What is that? That's not fair. In order to try to get my team into the playoffs, I am giving the Browns CJ Beathard a third and a second next year for Myles Garrett.
I tried him last year. They've clearly lowered their expectations.
Yep. It didn't take much. CJ Beathard got it up like almost halfway. Just him.
And they will take this one. Okay. Because it's the last year, of course, those 2021 picks don't matter, so I went a little bit generous with them. A first-round pick next year, a second-round pick next year, and a second-round pick this year for Bobby Wagner. Okay. Interesting. Ryan Anderson has served a purpose. First-round pick, third-round pick, Ryan Anderson for Odell Beckham Jr. They will accept a fourth rounder, a third round next year, and a seventh rounder for Devontae Parker. It was just Jarvis Landry they're not willing to part ways with.
I got a pretty weird trade coming here too. Eric Armstead for Eric Weddle. That's it. That was I don't know how that happened. I mean, Eric Weddle, I know he's old.
Eric for Eric.
Yeah, but spelled very differently, right? But he's an 88 overall. I mean, why not?
Oh yes, thank you, Chargers. I can't believe this one worked. Fifth rounder, sixth rounder, and a fourth next year for Dan Feeney.
Okay, so I kind of scoured the entire NFL for a cornerback to get, but I had to go with this guy. So I'm giving the Giants Eric Reed, this Hutchinson guy, my backup running back, and a first next year for Janoris Jenkins, who's an 88 overall. I tried to get AJ Bouye for so long, and it didn't work, but settled with him.
Done. I can't believe I managed to make the 10. Fourth rounder this year that I managed to get off the Saints for a 5th, 6th, and 7th last year. John Ross, Andrew Billings, for Josh Norman. Okay, so my team now. Still a reasonable number of Bengals players. So Andy Dalton has kept his job this entire time. His running back is now 92 rated Jordan Howard. His receivers, however, Odell Beckham Jr., AJ Green, and Devontae Parker, and then Tyler Boyd in case he's needed. Wait, is he Tyler or Taj? I don't know which one's which. Trent Williams, the left tackle, 96 rated. Bowling, 80 rated. Sitton is our center, 83 rated. Then Dan Feeney, the right guard, 82. And then Russell Bodine, 85 rated. Right tackle. Then Tyler Eifert and Delaney Walker, our two tight ends. I forgot I had Delaney Walker, actually. That's a nice surprise. And the defense, free safety, Adrian Amos. The linebackers, Kevin Minter, 81 rated, and Bobby Wagner, 96. But then it's Lawson at 72 rated, Sean Williams, 81. Cornerback massively improved with the final trader, Josh Norman, 91. And then Sean Smith is down to an 81. And William Gay I picked up in free agency as well, for 81 rated. Not great, but not terrible. And then the defensive line is Aaron Donald, 99. Geno Atkins, 89. Russell Glasgow at 75, and Carlos Dunlap at 85 overall.
My team going into this final season here, we got Drew Brees at quarterback, 40-year-old, 18 years of experience, of course. He's our quarterback. David Johnson still our running back. Julio Jones, Pierre Garçon, Golden Tate still the wide receivers. I have them in that order because Golden Tate has been ridiculous in the slot this entire time, so I'm going to keep him there. Offensive line's actually very good. We got Jack Conklin, who I moved the left tackle for this season. I've just been trying to find a left tackle. We had Joe Staley to begin with. He played terribly. We had Alex Mack the season after that. He played, you know, a little bit better, but still really bad. Now, maybe Jack Conklin can be the best. Who knows? Larry Warford's still our guard. We got Sherrod here. I forgot your first name. Antoine Sherrod is still our center. Kevin Zeitler's our right guard. Alex Mack is our right tackle. CJ Fedorowicz is still the tight end. I signed ASJ. I signed Austin Safarian-Jenkins in free agency just because why not? And then on the defense is much more upgraded now after, you know, the couple of trades I did. Eric Weddle is now our free safety. Janoris Jenkins is now our number 2 cornerback. Myles Garrett is now our right end. That was kind of redundant. Landon Collins still the strong safety. Reuben Foster, Navarro Bowman, Thomas Davis. I signed Thomas Davis in free agency. We got Fletcher Cox, DeForest Buckner, Solomon Thomas to finish off the offensive line, you know, all next to Myles Garrett. Chris Harris and Rashad Robinson are also starters. So I think this team can make the playoffs. I think both of our teams can make the playoffs. They're definitely talented enough, so let's see what happens. So at the end of this season here, my team made the playoffs, you know, along with his team did as well, but we went 15-1. That's one of the best records you can, obviously, that's one of the best records you can have. I don't know why. It's like the second best record you can have. I don't know why I felt to point that out. I guess 15-0-1 would be a little better. So I guess it's like the third, whatever. The Rams went 9-6-1. The Seahawks went 9-7. The Cardinals went 2-13-1. They've been struggling. The stats here, Drew Brees played out of his mind. 4,938 yards, 40 touchdowns, 15 picks. Is honestly a little bit much for him, but that's still a fantastic season. Can't really fault him. But David Johnson, one of the best seasons a running back, you know, honestly has ever had. Nearly 1,500 yards, 24 touchdowns, did not fumble once. But then Jacquizz Rodgers gets 16 touchdowns out of the backups. That's 40 touchdowns for those guys. Drew Brees got one, and Brian Key, whoever that is, also got one. So 32 touchdowns. That is, or not 32, 42, right? Yeah, 42 touchdowns. Julio Jones, nearly 100 catches, 1,541 yards, 12 touchdowns. That's just what happens if Drew Brees and Julio Jones are on the same team. Pierre Garçon, 866 yards, 3 touchdowns. Golden Tate still gets over 1,000, gets 1,100 with 12 touchdowns. CJ Fedorowicz only got 2. David Johnson got 3. Trent Taylor got 4. All right, he only got like 14 catches. Blocking. Jack Conklin lets up 6 sacks. Alex Mack lets up 4. That's it. The entire offensive line let up 10. On the defense, Navarro Bowman leads our team in tackles once again. Reuben Foster gets 100. Tackles for loss, 14 from Fletcher Cox. We got 13 sacks from Myles Garrett, 8 from Solomon Thomas. A lot of interceptions here, 6 from Chris Harris, 5 from Navarro Bowman and Janoris Jenkins, 4 from Rashard Robinson, 3 from Landon Collins and Eric Weddle, and then 1 from Reuben Foster. So this team played super, super well. Who do we have to take on? The 9-7 Falcons. That's what I'm going
against. The divisional round is truly divisional.
I want to take a quick look at the overall for my team. I'm a 95 overall. I just wanted to check that out. The Falcons are an 88. So, they should not stand a chance, but, you know, you never know. They don't have Julio Jones anymore. This would be an interesting playoff game if something like this actually happened, when Julio gets let go.
What did you say you were, 95?
95, yeah.
Yeah, 91 for me, and I've got to play the 90 overall Steelers.
Alright, I'm ready to sim whenever you are.
You went 12-4. Here we go.
15-1 to a 9-7. Okay. I went 9-7 last year and I didn't make the playoffs, so.
Okay, let's see. Fingers crossed for me, because the last time I lost my first game,
I won.
Oh, and I've lost it again.
I won my game. Ah.
How?
Damn.
We're at home. We lose 47 to 41.
Oh, that's rough. That's such a close game too. All right, I have to take on the Panthers now. I have to take on the Panthers now.
Them to Super Bowl.
All right, let's see if I'm in it. Oh man, watch it. Who did you lose to?
I lost to the Steelers.
The Steelers. Oh, I'm not in the Super Bowl. I lost. So, right, this is the Super Bowl.
I mean, that's a slight consolation for me, but I still lost that entire thing. So
I'm gonna check it out. Who did I lose to? 30-24 against the Panthers. That sucks. Drew Brees had a decent game. Cam Newton, not really great at all, honestly. Oh man, the defense. I'm gonna check out the defense real fast. There has to have been like some fumbles or something. No, I mean it looks like our defense played better. I mean, DeForest Buckner 2.5 sacks. Got 2 tackles for loss from
It would have been a tough road for the Bengals because the Steelers had to go through the Patriots.
Oh jeez, yeah, that would have been rough.
It wouldn't have been easy to come through. Also, didn't think about this. I'm the Bengals and I lost my first playoff game. Shouldn't really have been surprised.
Yeah, I guess that. It's just a curse. It's just a curse.
Yeah, I mean, they've coded it into the game because this team is far too good. And it is fair. I don't want to make it sound like I'm saying it's actually not fair. It's fully fair. You win the first and now definitely last. No, not last. You win the first. The first time I host somebody here on this channel and I get beaten in my own garden. Can't believe it.
It was close though. I mean, I didn't make it much farther. I only made it 1 round farther, so.
I mean, we both took them to the final year as well, which is came down to the wire. But you take the win. Therefore, it's only right, of course, that everybody has to now go over and visit your channel and at least like the equivalent video that we've done together. Obviously, subscribe. It's the winner's rights.
Yeah.
It's only fair.
But if you don't do unsubscribe from him and then just subscribe to me.
Everybody has to now just switch over. Throw my controller in anger. Yeah. So if you subscribe to both of us, just. I mean, maybe I get to keep those, but if you're not, you have to swap. It's the rules.
Yeah.
And I hope I can at some point win you back.